talk to us, concerning the fact that education is important and that we need to know how to communicate to the people that we try to impact knowledge into. And today we're going to continue and do part 2 of it. We're going to consider language and other things that are necessary for us as tutors, as facilitators, as a people to send information to people to make sure that they understand. We talked about the fact that communication is between two people, and that I'm sending to you, you are at the receiving end. I need to have a feedback, and the feedback must always be positive. And so today, we're trying to continue that conversation. And I believe that as you stay in tune, you will listen and be part of the conversation. In fact, today we want to activate the phone lines in the middle of the halfway through the program so that you can call in and ask questions and talk to us. And one of the things I would like you to do this morning is to share the link. Go on Facebook. The reason why we ask you to go on Facebook because there are a lot of things that you don't know that is happening in the area of education. Some of them are buildings and other things that are important for you to see. So when you go on Facebook, you can have some of the videos that we show there. And so go there. And you can get us on Transformation Agenda Series on Education. It's our page that you can go there and like it. So anytime we come on air, you can have the prompt and the alert, and then you can take a listen to it. And then we have the Word Radio J, which is also a page on Facebook. And then we have the classfmonline.com or Class 91.3 FM on Facebook as well. So please try and get connected to us, and then let's have a conversation this morning. Thank you.
I'm so excited about the budget that has been read. This is the best budget for education ever. But you not hear it from the debate in the media. Because most people have not read the appendices. If you get a budget document and you don't look at the appendices, it's like having the Bible and not reading the Revelation.
Class 91.3.
The appendices reveal true transformation of the country or the lack thereof. And in education, and I'm saying here because this is an education forum, we should be super excited about this budget, the best we've ever seen in years. Appendix 10C will tell you something that you not hear on radio. 10C talks about, in the education field, 5, building 12 state-of-the-art TVET schools, full boarding schools like KTI, 12 of them covered by this budget. It talks about NAFTI being modernized. It talks about 35 STEM high schools. It's like building PRESEC 35 times. This budget, 10 of them will be finished next year. Then it talks about 10D, even more exciting. Science labs are going to be retooled. Upgrading and enhancement of technical schools is there. 21st century junior high schools, the most exciting piece of it all. 25 STEM schools, we'll talk about that, 35 STEM schools, but junior high schools are going to be transformed to give Ghana a true 6-year secondary education. I'm excited that we also, under this budget, we are building 6 universities, 5 of them STEM universities in the new regions.
Class 91.3, credible, compelling, and complete.
Good morning once again. Honorable Dr. Osei Duchum, wherever you are, God bless you. And that was his voice. He was actually talking about the 2022 budget, about the fact that he was very excited because of how it captures education. All the deputies of education, deputy ministers for education, Reverend Tim Fojo, and our mother, Gift Chumampofo. Wherever you are, we say a good morning to you, and we bless you for the services that you are rendering to Mother Ghana. And all those at the Ministry of Education, Mr. Paddy, God bless you so much. Lawyer Jerry, God bless you. Dr. Eric and Kansan, God bless you. All right, so it's now time for Educhum Diaries. And Lauren Shiabebio is here. Good morning, Lauren Shiabebio.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good, I'll see. All right. So, what's happening? What happened? Where has the minister been to for the past week?
A lot has happened.
Mhm.
A lot is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think you can get closer to the microphone a bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay.
Good.
I think this is okay.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say a good morning
Mm.
to our listeners and our viewers on Facebook as well. And also a good morning to our Honorable Minister, Honorable Dr. Yao Osei-Oduchum, for this opportunity. And before I even start, I would like to give our best wishes to all the WASI students, those who are currently writing the WASI examinations. Good luck to all of them, and then we wish them well in their examination from now until September. So we've had the minister going on some, let me say, tours. I mean, he's always on tours, but this time around, not only with his school tours.
Okay.
So I mean, although he's the Minister for Education, he's also the MP for Bosomtwe constituency, and you can't just concentrate on ministry when your delegates, your constituents are also there. So he had to also see that his constituents and then his delegates are all taken care of, see to their welfare and all that. So we had him this week over there to see to all that. He met with I think some of the delegates, the assembly members, and a host of other stakeholders to have discussions. So that aside, we've also had him on, let me say, an inauguration.
Okay.
So yes, recently we've had him inaugurating council members for 10 colleges of education, and all these colleges of education were done. I think he has inaugurated some, I think about 3 or so.
Okay.
Some past years, and then this one he's inaugurated for 10 colleges. And those colleges include Kibi College of Education, Ola College of Education, Peki, we have Fosu, Holy Child, Tamale College of Education, St. Louis College, St. John Bosco College, St. Monica's College, and then Gambaga College of Education. And all these council members are supposed to handle all affairs of these various colleges of education, all these institutions. They are supposed to be, let me say, the main overseers of them.
Okay.
And some of their duties has to do with, let me say, prescribing terms and conditions for admission of students to study any kind of course they want to in the school, and then overseeing internal affairs that has to do with even finances, departmental affairs and all that. I mean, all these things are supposed to be overseen by them. So yes, I mean, we've had that done. So we are waiting for their work to actually begin, and then you see how far they take our colleges of education to the next level. So basically, I think we are on that. But then we've had him doing some, last week, as I said, some underground works. I mean, some things are there. It's not always that he's going to be out there, but we are doing a lot to make sure that all these STEM schools are completed. Like, let me say that way. Yes, we have some that are still being done and all that, and then with our CTVS schools, those that were inaugurated at East Legon as well, all those ones are still being taken care of. So yes, basically we are here.
All right, thank you very much, Lauren Shiabebio there.
You're welcome. With
Educhum Diaries. I think the minister is doing very well. I think this government has done so much in education. In fact, sometimes I sit down and I ask myself if I've brought up a policy, free senior high school, and Ghanaians are saying that it's chopping so much money. Let me just review it. And the man is saying no. That's a blessing. I mean, that's a huge blessing. And not just talking about the fact that we don't have accommodation, we don't have, the schools are not there, but he's building school. This man, this president has built so much. I think when you go on Facebook, you can see some of the schools that he's built. Sure. The minister just talked about schools that are captured, in the 2022 budget that are going to be built as well. The president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he's done very well. Let's put politics aside. He's really, really done very well in the area of education, and I think he has 100% plus mark for that. Or you don't agree?
I do agree. Perfectly, I do.
All right, Solange Javier, God bless you so much. I want to say this program is proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Education. Now, last week I shared a quote with you, and this morning I want to do one from Jim Rohn, who is an American entrepreneur, author, and a motivational speaker. And this is what he has to say. If someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation. If someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation to speed him up. What he needs is education to turn him around. If someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation to speed him up. What he needs is education to turn him around. That's by Jim Rohn, who is an American entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker. Education is so important. And that's why we are here this morning to continue our conversation last week. Now, I'm going to activate the phone lines halfway through the conversation. And the number is 0302 20 80 80. 0302 20 80 80. Just write this number down, because we're going to engage you in as the conversation goes on, to just come in and also share your views on what we are discussing today. So we want to give you more time so that we don't cut some of you when you're trying to get through to us. All right, so the government has an agenda to transform the economy. One of the areas which is trying to do this is the area of education. And so this program seeks to focus on education, the area of education, and tell you all that is happening, and the government's decisions and plans and purpose and everything the government is doing to make sure that education in this country has gotten to that level. It's the desire of the Minister of Education to make sure that Ghana is transformed under his leadership. And he's quite achieving that. That's a blessing. I keep saying Honorable Dr. Yao Osei Educhum is anointed for what he's doing. It takes the grace of God for you to do all these things you're doing. Wherever you are, Honorable Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, we say God bless you for your service to this country. God bless you. All right, so we walk through town to, have conversation with some of the people, the public, and these are some of the things that some of them had to say. So let's take a listen to this as we begin the conversation.
My name is Transford Lati at His Majesty Senior High School. Chi and English. To my side, I make sure I give them the best understanding in the English aspect, because I'm not that good in the Chi. And with the students, the understanding with the English is quite good. Okay, more than the Chi, because sometimes I used to make jokes with the Chi, so it's not like explaining what we are learning. Most of the explanations that we do in class goes in the English aspect, and they are okay with it. Thank you.
You're from Medina. Na Madrin Chekakran is a medje. Minyayanka yemfa brofo enkyere nkwala no, because obi te say me say be the tree ene me makasa wo fe me shada ante brofo enti so omko school a teacher ne na be me de so de brofo e be kyere o made, but eya omfa training ka ho, because akolepo wa wo kyere na de wo brofo na de battery ma o te ase yie pa enti e be stress mode ne nyina e be kyere mo na me de brofo ne no so kakra ensen twe no me da se.
My name is Bridget, and my opinion is I would love the teachers to blend both the English and the Chi. Say money baby wo honoma like omo o de tree ne English ne efra ma omo te ase ye, they do understand it better. But okase o de brofo no kwa tra akola na akola bi wo ho a obefia ne mama nte brofo no no so de brofo na aka no ho nti so no befia ne mama be kire ne tree no more na musonso mo de brofo no actually mo ba ya mo fa tree no so tie tree said be your mo beti ase ye.
My name is Ivo. I am in KG2 where my teacher teach me English and I understand very well than the tree.
So those were the voices of the people that we spoke to. Some of them were saying that we have to blend the two, Twi and English. But then someone also called on the program last week and said we are trying to make the Akan language or the Twi language super over the other ones. And that why are we trying to always talk about Twi and English? Why are we not talking about the art, the Ga or whatever? I have Mr. Solomon Natete in studio. Mr. Solomon Natete is a lecturer at the West End University at Wager and also lectures at the Center for Teacher Development Ghana. And today we are going to talk about effective communication in education. We want to have success in the area of education. And one of the things that we want to focus on this morning is communication education, but language and understanding of what we communicate. Mr. Solomon Natete, God bless you.
Thank you very much.
And happy to see you once again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We miss you so much.
We've been a bit busy somewhere. So.
Wow. Before we start the conversation, quickly, someone asked a question, and let me ask you before I forget, about this exam that we're having at the primary school. And I mean, yes, in Kolando do class 2 on May exams, or we do classes on May exams. What is the meaning of that? Briefly, what is that about?
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our listeners, and let me also say good morning to the minister, Honorable Osei Edichum. He's doing well, and let's all give him the support.
That's
Actually,
right.
whatever it is that he's doing, he's doing it for Ghana. Yes, he will not remain there forever and ever. Somebody will come and then continue from wherever he might get to.
Okay.
But it's very important that we all give him the support, so that at least we'll be able to get to where we want to get our education to. So let me once again say good morning to him.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that is what we call standardized examination. Yes, I mean, I'll just coin out of the word standard. And so if you talk about that examination, it means you have set a standard. Yes, and you want to test your learners to find out if the standard has been achieved.
Okay.
And so with such examinations, they are not necessarily meant for giving the children terminal reports or whatever. So you see that whatever it is that was written, the children, but it is to check whether the standard the system want to meet, we are meeting it. If it is the exams is written and we realize we are meeting it, we just have to give it a push. However, if the standard is not being met, then we go back to the table, sit down and look at how best we can meet the standard. And so it's a simple thing. Maybe one of these days we'll find time to come back to that. And
it's very important, very important. Thank you very much. So last week, I think you listened to the program. Now we're going to look at communication. You are a lecturer. You've been lecturing for years. I see that sometimes when we are giving the exam, our performance in examinations, sometimes it's because we don't understand the question. Maybe how the question is framed. You know, it makes it difficult for us to understand that. If they were to be in a language that we understand, that's what a lot of people would have said. We'll be able to understand what the teacher is trying to communicate, the message, and what the question demands that we put on paper. But sometimes because we don't understand it, we try to. We don't do well. Now, in trying to communicate information to people, what are some of the things? I mean, we're looking at language now. What sort of language is appropriate to communicate? Is it boundary is something that has to do with a geographical location in terms of in Ghana, in Nigeria, in looking at ethnicity, for example, being in a Kan community, being in a Gan community. How are we supposed to communicate what we want to send out there so that the children who are receiving at the receiving end will understand what we really want to communicate to them and give us the feedback that we desire?
Okay, thank you very much. As you did mention, in fact, geographical location matters a lot when it comes to this language thing, especially in a part of the world, more that is Ghana. The reason being that we have several languages spoken in Ghana, and so you come to Accra, and the language here is different from what you meet when you get to another community or another area. And so you cannot, when it comes to Ghana, you cannot precisely say that this is the language that should be used in teaching the children, because if you live in probably somewhere in the Volta region, you cannot say that the children over there should be taught using Twi or whatever. But then it means that if it's about understanding and it's not a matter of projecting a particular language, then what it means is that the language that is spoken within that community is the one that is supposed to be used in teaching the children. But let us not lose sight of one thing, that now the world has become a global village, and so whatever it is you are doing, you are not looking at what you are doing within your jurisdiction, but you are looking at what's happening around you in the whole world. And so if we are saying that yes, it's very important to teach our children in our schools here using the Ghanaian language, and then what happens if it's about Twi, if it's about Ewe, it's about Ga? Yes, when the child moves out of his or her jurisdiction, let's say to Togo, is it possible to get that language spoken over there? I mean, these are some of the things we have to consider. And if you consider these things, then you realize that we have no option but to use the English language as a medium of communication to our children.
Oh, okay. So but you have one of the teachers, I think a facilitator, who spoke if you listen to the voice and said that sometimes I make jokes with the Twi.
Yeah,
I make jokes with the Twi, and we had a discussion here about French.
Okay.
Speaking the French language, learning how to speak the French language, that it's important. We are surrounded by francophone countries, and it's important. When you look at our local languages in this country, for example, do you think that we understand them, we speak them well, we can write them?
And I'm just saying that even our local languages in this country are not properly spoken, especially when you if you get to a point where you want to speak the language outside the jurisdiction where that language is spoken. For example, if you want to talk about Twi, more so the Asante language, you realize that if you come to Accra, the language is not properly spoken as it might be spoken when you get to the Ashanti region. And that is another thing, and that is having an influence on the English spoken by our children. Yes, because for example, you have a case where a child comes to you and say "Omofrel," and this converted to English becomes "they are calling you," and that is the language spoken by our children these days, and it is not a good language. And so it's very important that even if we talk about speaking the Ghanaian languages in our classrooms or whatever, then we have to ensure that the people who are speaking the language are speaking it properly, so that our children will become very, very much used to the actual language that is supposed to be spoken in our country.
Do we have okay, let me introduce you. Do we have our local language? We have teachers who are teaching these local languages. Do we have them?
We do have them, but the issue is that the teachers who are teaching the local language, the question is, are they so good in terms of the languages they are teaching? That's one thing we need to find out.
Okay, so then I'll ask you, training teachers, you know, do you lay emphasis on the fact that they have to also understand the local language or teach? I mean, like, do you have people opting to teach the local languages?
Yes, it's very important that we do that. That when we get to our training colleges, we have to get that special training for people who were teaching the local languages. And actually, if that is what if we want to project our languages, then that is what is supposed to be done. And the issue is, even when we get to the training colleges, is it possible that we'll have people who can properly teach these teachers these languages, so that they too will come back and teach our children? That is, even if it is, we might end up getting only a few of the people over there. Some of the languages, I doubt if we can get people to help these training teachers to learn, so that they too will come to the classroom and impact those languages into our children.
You go to schools and you see speaking vernacular here is prohibited. Now, so that we have to only speak English when we go to school, but when we go home is for our local languages, but school is for. Is it right to do that?
Yes, you see, one important thing about language is that language is learned better when you are a little child. And that is why there's something we call first language and the second language. And when you talk about a child's or somebody's first language, in actual sense, it is not the language of your parents that you can call your first language, but then it is the language that is predominantly spoken around you, actually where you are born. And so, assuming I am a Ga and I'm born in a Kumasi, the language that is predominantly spoken around me, even by my parents, is what becomes my first language. And most often, in our part of the world, most parents do not speak their mother tongues with their children. Yes, if people find themselves in Kumasi, being Gans or Krobos or whatever, and you find them speak the Twi language with their children, and so in that case, the Twi becomes the child's first language.
Okay.
Yes, so it's very important that we get to understand these things. And as you as you ask, in fact, we send our children to schools for them to be educated, and as part of their education, they should be able to acquire the English language, because we find ourselves in a world where we have the people who are leading us or who are directing us speak English, and so we need to be able to speak their language as well, so we can then be able to cooperate with them. And so that is why the school is doing that. But then when our children get to their homes, I wish that their parents speak their native languages with them. But the question is, we have parents who cannot speak their native languages properly, and so you see that these children do not have anybody or people around them to help them learn those native languages. And when that happens, it becomes a difficult thing for our children. And so if we are saying that in the classroom, the teacher should use Twi or whatever language it is that is spoken in Ghana. One thing I want to say is that to teach somebody to understand you, it does not depend on the language alone, and that is one thing we have to understand. That the fact that you are speaking Twi and the child understands Twi means that the child is going to get whatever it is you are teaching. In teaching, it is not always like that.
Okay.
That is one thing we have to know. There are several, a lot of things that come to play when you are teaching and you want the child to understand what you are teaching. And so it's not only the language that influences understanding when it comes to the classroom. There are several other things that come to play. And so I believe that as to whether it is the local language or English that is spoken in the classroom is not the biggest thing, but it's about how you do your impartation, how you do your teaching for the children to absorb what you want them to absorb.
Thank you. Now, I want us to look at two things now. Let's look at play. Using play, as in playing to send or impact knowledge, and then we'll look at the gestures, and here we'll delve into the tone, the kind of tone you're using. Now let's look at play. How important is it to add play as you teach for the understanding of the people that you're teaching?
Okay, the issue is that children are born to play. So I've always told teachers that I just can't understand them when they complain that their children play too much. If you are a teacher and you complain that our children play too much, then it means that you don't actually understand this issue of teaching and learning. Because somebody can be playing and they're learning at the same time.
Okay.
If we give toys to our children, yes, sometimes we see the children are just playing with the toys, but there's a lot of interactions that goes on between the child and then the toy, and so at the end of the day, the child ends up learning a lot of things which we do not know, and so yes, making play as part of our teaching and learning process in the classroom is very, very important. We have to make sure that the children enjoy what they're doing or whatever it is. And I mean, before you realize, the children might have learned whatever you want them to learn. So it's very important that we bring play into the classroom.
From which level? Is it up to the basic, the secondary, or the post-secondary? I mean, where should we employ this strategy?
We have to start even from the preschools, that is the crèches, the nurseries, the KGs, and what have you, and extend it to wherever we feel that if I do this and my student will understand me, I have to do it. Yes, in fact, the best way to get people to understand whatever it is you want them to learn is to make sure you put them into what you are doing.
Okay.
One of the best ways to get learnings to be part of what you are doing is to use the play method.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. You are listening to the Transformation Agenda series on education, and we are discussing effective communication in education, and we are today focusing on language and other aspect of it. I'm here with Mr. Solomon Atete, who is a lecturer at Weija, Western University at Weija, and also a lecturer at the Center for Teacher Development Ghana. You are reminded that this program is proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Education. Now, let's activate the phone lines as we continue the conversation. 0302 20 80 80, 0302 20. You can call in now and also ask your question or put your views across. Now, let's look at tone, a kind of tone we use in communicating to children. Sometimes you trying to tell, just like if you see a woman and you wanted to say I love you, you can't say I love you. It doesn't. It looks like you're playing. There's a way you say it to communicate emotions. Now, how should we communicate to children as facilitators for them to understand what you are saying, not to think that we are shouting at them or we are sort of not happy with them or let them feel intimidated? How should the tone be?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, as you did mention,
yes,
the tone of our language, in terms of the children, in fact, matters a lot. You cannot shout too much when you are dealing with children, because your voice alone may scare some of the children. In fact, we have a lot of children in the classroom. Even if you have just about 10 children in the classroom you are teaching, you have to be mindful of most of the things you do, because these children come from different and various backgrounds, and for that matter, even the tone of the voice, there are children who are not shouted at home. They come from and so some of them, once you raise the voice too much, they feel that no, there's something wrong, and they begin to get scared. So you have to make sure that the tone of the voice you use in terms of communicating to the children in the classroom is such that you will not, or you might not be scaring some of the children.
How should it be?
The tone itself should be that kind of friendly tone. Yes. You see, one thing we forget about us when it comes to communication is that body language also communicates. And so if you are speaking to the child, even your body language gives further explanation
to what
you are saying. And so if you use that, apart from the tone that you are using, what kind of body language are you showing to the child? It adds to the meaning of whatever it is you are saying. So yes, much as we're looking at the tone, let's not forget about the body language. And the tone, like I said, should be in a friendly manner. You make sure the gestures, your body language are such that the child sees them as a friendly body language that you put across. You can check. Look, you can tell somebody you are a fool. Excuse my language. You can tell somebody you are a fool. And in natural sense, the body language and the tone you use can make the person
laugh. Yeah.
And you can tell another person or the same person you are a fool, and it becomes a different thing based on the tone and then the body language, especially your facial expression. And so when we are communicating, to the children, we are interacting with the children, we should be mindful of the tone and then our body language.
Thank you very much. One of the things I know about this country is that we have great teachers in this country. Our teachers are properly trained. That one is a fact. But we also understand that there are people who are teaching in some of the schools that are not trained. We have some of these senior high school students that have not gone to the teacher training. They just have the desire. Some of them want to do something, so they get themselves employed in some of these schools. And these are some of the things. Do we have in-house training for our teachers who are teaching? Because some of these people who stand in front of the class, and sometimes some of the things they say, you realize that enkoyi papa. Are we having in-house training for private schools, for example, or that builds these teachers or facilitators to ensure that they are aware of all these things that you're talking about this morning?
Thank you very much. We have what we call pre-service training, then we have in-service training. And the pre-service training is what is done in our training colleges or the colleges of education. Yes, and apart from that one, yes, when you get on the job and you are working as a teacher or a facilitator, with time intermittently you are given trainings. And yes, you spoke about the private schools. I think when you talk about in-service training or on-the-job training, I think the private schools do that a lot. For that, I can say it for sure that they do that a lot. And as part of the government's programs to help these teachers, I think the National Teaching Council now is supposed to be giving or offering licenses to teachers.
Okay.
And now what they're trying to do is that they want to put all the non-trained teachers, those in the private and then the government sector, they want to put them all together and then just give them that kind of training that will help them to acquire temporary licenses, renewable every year.
Okay.
And then after a certain year, that is, I think by the year 2024, the government is trying hard so that we will not have non-trained or non-professional teachers in the classroom. But then, yes, like I said, those we have now, the government is putting them together so to give them trainings that will help them to be able to acquire the temporary licenses. Then after that, they themselves will have to make sure that they add to it so they become professional.
Thank you very much. That's Mr. Solomon Atete. All right, so let's go for a short break. Please, the numbers to call, so the number is 0302 20 80 80, and you can also send us a WhatsApp on 0500 202. God bless you. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, in 2016 pledged to ensure free senior high school education for every Ghanaian child. Under the leadership of the President, the first-year enrollment has grown from 308,000 in 2016 to a projected 500,000 this academic year. The Transformation Agenda series exposes you to the varied and various achievements of the government in the area of education, delving into the policies, interventions, and infrastructure development that has occurred under the leadership of the President. Be my guest this and every Saturday through all the 16 regions of Ghana from 9 o'clock p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Transformation Agenda Series, Reimagining Education for National Development. Transformation Agenda Series, coming soon on GTV. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, in 2016 pledged to ensure free senior high school education for every Ghanaian child. Under the leadership of the President, the first-year enrollment has grown from 308,000 in 2016 to a projected 500,000 this academic year. The Transformation Agenda series exposes you to the varied and various achievements of the government in the area of education, delving into the policies, interventions, and infrastructure development that has occurred under the leadership of the President. Be my guest this and every Saturday through all the 16 regions of Ghana from 9 o'clock p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Transformation Agenda Series, Reimagining Education.
That was Toby Mac. The song is Speak Live from the album I On It. You can call us on 0302 20 80 80. 0302 20 80 80. All right, so Mr. Solomon Atete, we are talking about the tone, and then we talked about the training of the in-service training that we give to our teachers so that they are able to do effective communication. Now, there are certain things that we also need. For example, I'm teaching about writing, so I have to have a book, I have to have a pen to show the students that when you're talking of writing, you need this kind of equipment to do that. Now, are we able to communicate with our people having all these things, or we still speak about them? Like you say an atom and somebody asks you, I've not seen an atom before, you understand? Obviously, if you go to the lab and they're able to show you some of this thing, it makes it very easy. Those days, as kids who are studying science these days don't have the kind of difficulty we have. For instance, now we have the iBox that has the science lab, the virtual lab, that where you are able to see the experiment being performed as though it's being done. So even you may not have the chemical right there. And the minister, I think some time ago, said that it's even safer to use the iBox or that kind of experimentation, because there you don't pour or go and mix some chemicals that will explode and give you some kind of issue with your skin or eye or whatever. Now, do we have these equipment or tools that we need to make communication effective? Because we are imparting knowledge. The importance is that the idea is that the person who is listening should be able to understand and be able to apply what is being taught. So if I'm just speaking to the person but not getting into the person's heart and mind to understand what I'm saying to be able to apply, then I'm actually wasting my time. Do we have the things that we need to teach these children so that they understand we communicating to them?
That is the problem we have in our part of the world. In fact, if you are teaching, and that is my belief, the language does not so much matter. The most important thing is how you communicate what you want the child to get, and one of the best ways to do that is to show the child what you are talking about.
Great.
Yes, if I want to show a child that this is a mobile phone, and I don't have a mobile phone, I can be speaking a language the child understands. But if the child does not see it, it might be a strange thing to the child. But if I show the child that that's a mobile phone, and the child is able to see it, at least the child will get what exactly I want him or her to get. And so the materials very important, and we don't have them. that is a problem. But then the fact that we do not have these materials does not mean that teachers should sit down aloof without doing anything about it. That is why we have what we call improvisation. You have to improvise. Try as much as possible. That most of the things you can get certain things in the community that will help you to be able to do your delivery. You see, now when you go to the external world, the whites, they are far ahead of us. And you see, now for them, they are beginning to do what we call PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And if you are doing a PowerPoint presentation, you need a video. You show whatever it is you wanted. Like you're saying, if you are talking about an atom, the child sees that this is an atom.
So it means we need projectors, we need laptops.
We need these things. We do not have. However, in our small way, we can also do PowerPoint presentation, though we might not be having these facilities. What we can do is that just get Manila cards. Yes, and you do your presentations on the cards. Do everything. So you paste them on the on the board.
Okay.
Then yes, once the children are seeing, and when the need be that you show the child a particular thing. If you don't have the actual thing and then you can put in a picture. If you have the actual thing, if you're talking about a goat and you have a goat, then fine, you show the child.
Is a teacher, banned from, for instance, where we have PTA, parent teacher associations, we have PTA meetings, we call the teachers and parents, and they come. Buying a projector and screen and laptop, can't teachers encourage parents to support in these areas?
We've got to a point where I think that the teachers even do not need to ask for these things. Parents should understand that these things are very important gadgets that are needed. And so if the PTAs and what have you can put resources together and help the schools with this gadgets, it will help the.
I've come to absorb one thing that those days where we have parents supporting schools, it doesn't exist anymore. I don't see those.
It's because we are beginning to probably misunderstand this whole issue of free education or whatever it is. The issue is that the fact that it is free does not mean that. If you are not the government and you have something, you cannot offer it for the school to use. And so yes, it is not easy for the government.
It's not easy for the government.
Yes.
Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
I'm Adobia. I just want to say thank you for the program you are doing. I really appreciate you for this program. It's a great program. And speaking of the local languages, I think that we should blend it with the English.
Okay.
Because I remember when I was in school, I could hardly speak English. So when they bring you a test, you can't even understand what the examiner is expected of you to write. And then I will also encourage parents to use the local language, teach their children the correct local language. I remember when Mr. Solomon, I think I was speaking, he said, a child will come and tell them and say, they are calling you. Who are they calling you? So we should speak the local language correctly to our children so that when even they blend it in school, they will be able to understand. And the parents who are able to speak or write their local language, they should take it upon themselves and teach their children.
All right.
That will go a long way to help us.
Thank you very much, Adobia. God bless you so much. We appreciate you for calling. Thank you. All right. So, Mr. Nati, you were talking about... okay, there's someone else. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name and where you're calling us from, please.
My name is Victor, calling from Abu Hekat, Ashama.
All right, sure. Victor, talk to us.
Since we are transforming education, to my understanding, since we are not transforming it completely, the education go with our traditional culture and then beliefs. So when we inculcate all these things into our transformation, we know that we are complete with everything.
Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Victor. God bless you for calling. Yes, Sanati.
Yes, as I was saying, the government is not finding it easy at all.
No, the government is not finding it easy at all. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
I'm calling from Boga.
Okay, all right, sure. Talk to us, Selena.
Yeah, the program I'm hearing is good. It's good for you people to add the Ghanaian language to the English.
Okay.
Because I can remember when I was at JSS, they used to teach us English. We will not understand. The teacher will put it in our language. We understand what the teacher is trying to tell us.
Okay.
So it's good for us to add the Ghanaian language.
So what language do you speak?
We speak Nab.
Okay, so when you want to say thank you in Nab, how do you say it?
Mpoya.
Mpoya. Thank you very much for calling. God bless you, Selena. God bless you. All right.
Yes, the government is not finding it easy at all. And everybody will bear witness that it is not easy. Yes. For government to provide everything in terms of education. I believe that let's put politics aside.
That's right.
The president, the minister of education, their desire will be that every child in the basic school should have a computer.
Okay.
Every school should have projectors and what have you. But the issue is that how to acquire these things is a bit difficult.
Yeah.
And so the community also has a role to play. If we think that we can afford to get the school projectors, why not do that?
Thank you very much. I think that we should, if you look at the literacy rate in this country, it's about 68.9%, which is approximately about 70%.
Okay.
So we have 30% of people who are illiterate, and you're talking about people who have understanding to write and read. Now, I believe that those days where our parents were selling their clothes and properties to send us to school, these days, I don't know whether the same thing that's happening, because some of the things that these children need that we call on government all the time, it's important that government provides all these things. Like you're saying, as a parent, if you need to buy a laptop for your ward or your child to study at home and understand, sometimes you see they do ICT. And we are complaining about the fact that they don't have the lab. So if the teacher is even improvising, and the child comes home and has the real computer, is able to practice, and that helps. So what you are saying is very important, that parents of today should realize that even though we are expecting government to do ABC, we should also take it upon ourselves to ensure that our children, because they are competing with that child in America.
That's it.
They are competing with that child in Japan and all these countries. And so if we sit here and we are always accusing government, we are always saying government, it's true, government must do it. But you as a parent, what kind of future do you want for your child? And what kind of investment do you have to invest in that child that you call your child?
That is the question now. In fact, I've always asked teachers that, assuming there's a job advertisement that warrants that people from Ghana, Nigeria, US, Britain apply for. Are we sure that the kind of education we are giving to the children is enough for them to win that job? If we can't do that, then we are not doing anything.
Wow.
The reason is that the world now has been merged. And somebody can be here in Ghana and be working for a company in the US. Now, are we producing the kind of personnel, children, that are fit for that kind of work? I mean, to meet the demands of the world today, we have to make sure we get there.
Yeah.
And to get there, parents must be involved.
That's right.
Even if the school owns a computer lab that has all the computers, you have to make sure you get computers.
And we should also get to the point where we donate to our schools, go and give things out, go and ask the head mistress or master. I went to one of the schools recently to visit my child. When I got there, it was the first day at school. One of the gates that they were opening couldn't open. I think the lock has spoiled. It was raining. I drove through the rain, went as far as a place to go and buy the key, and came and fixed it myself. I had screwdrivers. I remember fixing it. The headmistress, the woman was asking me, "Are you a carpenter?" She was asking, "Are you a carpenter?" I said, "No," but these are things that you see. So if all of us are helping in one way or the other, there are people who will not go for PTA meetings if they exist. Parent support meetings that are supposed, they will not go, and they don't care about anything, but they can sit in their homes and accuse government of making, not giving certain things to their wards to go to school. And some of us who are spending our money in drinking and doing so many things, understand that even if government is providing, there are people who have all these things, but the parents still give them extra tuition, extra teachers to teach them because of the future they want to give to their children. I think as parents, we should be able to, help in our children, not government. You are helping your own child.
Yes.
When the child completes school, he's not going to the president's house to buy him anything. It's you, the parents, who's going to enjoy. Some of them may even finish school. They may not even live in this country.
And that is it. That is one thing. And like you're saying, parents should understand that the world is developing, and we need to get our children to get to that standard. Yes, and to do that, government has a role to play, or the nation has a role to play. However, parents to have a role to play. And so if government is putting in all the effort and parents are not complementing it, we won't be able to get to where we want to get at.
Mr. Solomon Atete, thank you very much. To those of you parents, some of the parents who live in around school, sometimes the school, the weeds are there. Instead of going to do communal labor to support the school, they will not do it and all that. I think sometimes some of these things we need to bring them back. Community participation in education, where people must contribute something physically. Go clean the school. The doors are broken. We should contribute as a community. Those days where chiefs were involved in
our churches must be in the forefront of these activities.
Now, some of the churches have schools and they are managing those schools, so perhaps that's bad.
And you see, as if you are a church and you own a school, yes, as part of your activities. Just get a day. Let's get to the school, and fix some of these things. Let's go. And once you do that, the community is also observing. They are watching, and it shouldn't even be your school alone. Then the state-owned schools, what we've been calling the government schools. Let's get there and put ourselves together to make sure that we help these schools to make sure that because like I've always been saying that the schools belong to the communities. Yes, the schools belong to the community. That understanding we need to have.
All right, so Mr. Solomon Atete, God bless you so much for coming. We've been talking about effective communication education, and I had here today Mr. Solomon Atete. Now, before you go, what do you want to tell somebody who is listening to us today?
Yes, what I want to tell my fellow Ghanaians is that the world is moving very fast, and today we don't have anything like this as a white man, this a black man, or whatever. In terms of mentality, we have to fuse our mentalities together so that we all move along as the world is moving up. And so when it comes to the issues of education for our children, we should all make sure that we get on board. Let's be interested in what our children are doing, and whatever it is that it would cost us to get the children to get there, let us do it. Education is not for the rich, for us to say that, for me I don't have money and so I can't get you this. Yes, it's a matter of time. Whoever has it today can provide it today, but be sure that you also have a plan to make sure that you provide it tomorrow for the child, so that gap that exists can be bridged, so that tomorrow when our children, the kind of education we can give them will get them to fit into the society, so that they wouldn't be found wanting in terms of technologies and whatever in the world.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Solomon Atete, who is a lecturer at the Western University at Wager, and also a lecturer at the Center for Teacher Development.
Students who want to pick forms can get to Wager. Yes, or you go online and then you can get forms. The school is one of the best. In terms of education, the school is doing so well. And so people should come and
you are affiliated with which university?
We are affiliated to
UCC, the University of Cape Coast.
Yes.
Thank you, so that's Mr. Solomon Atete. You can get in touch with us. We'll give you his number, so that I think you should mention your number for somebody who is listening to us if they want to call you too.
Okay.
All right.
So my number is 024 64 77
96. All right. So call Mr. Solomon Atete on these lines or this line, and he will pick the call and give you directive as to what to do. Western University at Wager, affiliated to University of Cape Coast. They are more into education. If you want to be a good teacher, not only teacher, but anything you want to do in the field of education, they are there to help you. I want to say a good morning to all of you, and thank you very much for doing the listening. Please share the link to your friends and let them listen to this conversation. Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Yaw Osei Educhum, wherever you are. God bless you. keep you, give you the wisdom and the strength you need. May God empower you. May the Spirit of the Lord keep resting on you and strengthen your inner man. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. God is with you. You will arise and shine because your light has come and God's glory is rising upon you. God bless all of you for doing the listening. Thank you very much, my producer, Uncle George. Thank you, my brother Yima, for making sure that everything is working well here. Thank you, Lady Pastor Vanessa Abe, for monitoring us on Word Radio GH. And then Lauren Shabebio for bringing us the Educhum Diaries. Manuel Edusei, God bless you so much for your photographs and your videos. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, all the team. God bless you so much. I am Abraham Edo. I'll see you next week. Stay blessed. Take care of yourself. Be at church tomorrow. Serve God. Serve God. Life is short. Don't be doing the things that God will not be pleased seeing you do. You are blessed and highly favored. Wherever you are, stay blessed. Keep praying. Ghana is on the right path and we are going to make it. Stay safe. Be positive. God bless you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.